Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Pre-Market News and Views by In the Money Stocks. Today is Friday, August 16th, 2013. Thank you all for tuning in. Let's jump right into the charts here. We're going to start off with the usual S&P 500 E-mini futures. And what you'll see here is that the futures are trading higher today by about 2.25 points. So they're getting a little bit of an uptick from yesterday's bloodbath sell-off. But nonetheless, they have come in off the highs. So again, futures moving a bit lower off the highs, only up 2.5 points at the moment. I want to turn your focus real quickly to the dollar yen chart, and you're going to see the dollar yen is coming in as well. So the dollar yen comes down. That should bring the markets a little bit lower, at least cause some weakness. And you had a nice sell-off bar right there on the dollar yen after some economic data just appeared in the U.S. So again, pretty good weakness in the dollar yen at the moment off the highs. Dollar yen is still positive by about 13 cents on the session. But remember, you want to watch that chart. You also want to watch a chart of bond yields. Okay, bond yields are very, very important this morning. We do have bond yields higher again, trading at 2.79%. So almost at that 2.8% level. Let's get ready for let's get ready for 2.9 to 3%. That's pretty much where they're headed. But if we take a look at the 10-year note at the moment, you're going to see it's right up there, 2.79%. So that's where it is. That's where it is at the moment, and we'll just have to wait and see if it does trade higher. It will. If it does trade higher again, that should hinder the market a little bit here. It's telling us two things. One, people think it's telling us the economy is stronger. I'm not buying that one. But what I do think it's telling us is that the Federal Reserve needs to taper, and taper quickly. If they don't, I wouldn't be surprised in a year's time we see yields up around 4.5%, 5%. So again, we'll see how this all plays out and shakes out. But bonds are selling off, yields are going higher, and that's the bottom line. All right, let's take a look at a few other things here. I want to go up to the Shanghai index last night in Asia. I think this is very, very important. But last night, for a few minutes, I'm just going to go to the daily chart, somebody hit a button, and it caused the Shanghai index to spike all the way up to 2,200. So it wound up settling down, closing negative on the session. But for a couple of minutes, for a few minutes there, this did spike up there. That was a real print all the way up to 2,200 this morning. Well, I should say when the market closed and it settled all in, it did finish lower by 0.6% to obviously the 2068 level. But there was a fat finger trader, and it goes to show you how these computers, one person could cause a spike like this, and that is what happened. It looks like somebody did take responsibility for it. So I guess it was a firm called Everbright Securities. They took responsibility. They said they caused the error of a 53% surge in trading volumes and a 6% spike in the market in about 2 minutes. So again, it's kind of scary to think that somebody has at their fingertips the ability to send the market this high or this low in just a couple of minutes. So it's pretty incredible, but that's what we're dealing with in this day and age. And you want to know why the stock markets get a black eye out there? It's because people like this that are doing this kind of stuff. So in any case, the Nikkei, huge topping tail. Either way you slice it or dice it, it's a topping tail. So we have to just view it like that, and we'll see if price takes out this bar here. Is this on its way back down? So again, the credibility coming out of China is already suspect. If their accounting standards are correct, or anybody's accounting standards are correct out of there, and then you hear this stuff last night. So a little bit of a black eye there for the Shanghai Composite. All right, let's talk about the dollar yen, or let's go to the Nikkei, I should say, Nikkei 225. Nikkei 225 last night finished lower as well. But the one thing we will say is that it was off the lows of the day, but again it finished down again last night. I believe that index was down about 0.75%. Not a death sentence by any means, but it definitely was down. And yesterday's sell-off apparently putting pressure on all markets at this moment. So that's what we're looking at least right now. There are a lot of stocks in the news. One stock that's selling off this morning before the opening bell is this IOC, and I'll just punch in the intraday chart here. You can see This stock closed yesterday around 74. Right now it's trading at 66 bucks. So we'll have a gap level for that one. That one's going to be pretty volatile. It's a little bit on the thin side. So again, be prepared for that one. Also, Joseph A. Banks, the clother. This stock's getting hammered a little bit. That's down pretty decently. JWN, which is Nordstrom, this one's getting hammered as well. So you're seeing a lot of earnings plays still very much on the weaker side. So we'll have to watch that pretty closely. And we'll just see how that plays out. But a lot of equities that have just reported earnings, especially yesterday, today, especially retail stocks, just getting annihilated. And what is that telling us? Is that telling us that the consumer is weaker? Is that telling us that these stores, the comps were just too high and these stores couldn't make expectations? I happen to think it has to be the consumer. But eventually high energy prices and things of that nature, when wage growth doesn't increase, that's why we're showing no inflation. If wage growth increased, we'd be having heavy inflation, but that's not the case, not with these labor statistics. But let's take a look at the European markets today, which are all pretty much doing okay. The one weakness out here is really the German DAX. German DAX is down about 0.25%, but that's about it. All the rest of the European markets are doing fine this morning, so we don't want to make too much out of them. In fact, the Milan market's up 0.6%. Italy and Spain, despite being overbought, they're still holding up at the moment. We keep hearing news that these stocks have bottomed. These European nations have bottomed. It's just sector rotation is what it is. Money has nowhere to go, so it goes and finds a place where it can get some upside. But I don't believe for a minute that Europe has bottomed. I think their problems are just as big as they've ever been. But in the meantime, the stocks have rallied higher. So those different countries, those markets have rallied. So we'll leave it there at that. Looking over at the U.S. markets today, if we take a look at gold this morning, gold right now is trading up a little bit. You have gold up about $5.50. So let's take a look at the all-important GLD. Gold went on a tear yesterday. GLD is trading right around the 132 level. So there's a fair amount of resistance up here. But gold went on a tear yesterday. That was a tremendous move on all the gold equities. And that continues to hold up right around the 132 level on the GLD. When we look at oil, oil is up again today, mostly in part due to the conflict that is taking place in Egypt. So oil is up about 16 cents to 107.50 a barrel. If you take a look at the USO, which is a good proxy for light sweet crude, what you'll see here is that the USO is trading up a little bit here to around 38.34. We'll see how it plays out. But again, a lot of conflict going on in Egypt, and that certainly is weighing on the oil markets, causing a premium in the oil price, at least at the moment. So that's where we stand. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to today. Again, it's a Friday. Volume will get light around 12 o'clock in the afternoon, so you want to be a little bit on the cautious side after that time frame. Generally, Fridays are a flat to slightly positive trading day. We'll see if that is the case today. I wouldn't rule that out after yesterday's big decline. But either way, a lot of damage done on the charts yesterday. So we could look at more weakness coming in here today. But generally, Fridays are usually a flat to slightly positive day. So again, and that the volume trends will weigh on the market a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. With that said, everybody, I want to wish you all a great trading day, and I'll see you all on the charts.